We happen to start our practice at a very specific moment in South Africa's political landscape, in what we are calling the post-Rainbow Nation generation, an era of frustration.
In this context, we started to see events, rituals, atmospheres, and emotions as an integral part of our way of practice. We see our practice as soft interventionist responses to our context, with bigger picture manifestos for change in mind.
Our practice was started when we were still students, as a reaction and a response to the architectural profession and canon. Our frustrations and hopes for Johannesburg are embodied in each of our projects.
This presentation is a constellation of drawings, images, sound pieces, and videos, pulled together by a string of words, some my own and some borrowed. Statements brings together politics and architecture in Africa. It draws on fieldwork across the country to explore the shape of statehood through a mapping of various South African state buildings. The project asks, how does African architecture manifest statehood, and how is statehood understood in the ways citizens use, view, and engage with the buildings of the state?
It was the seat of apartheid, so it was the devil's headquarters. It was the symbol of apartheid. Discussion between two men in the library, Pretoria.
That's where all the decisions are made. It's where our fate is being discussed as South Africans. Man, artist, Kimberly.
Our forefathers worked tirelessly to build that building. That building comes with so much sweat and blood of our ancestors. Man in the Library, Pretoria.
This project was done in collaboration with Professor Julia Gallagher from SOAS University in London as part of a greater ongoing research across the continent. In words more eloquent than I could ever write, Counterspace describes the 2019 Graduate School of Architecture Summer Show as a set of blooming drawings, imaginaries, whispers and screams, dreams and memories, flash, emerge, synchronize, dissipate across 8 separate screens in a basement in Braamfontein. Immerse into the blossom of 5 years of growing ideas, fighting thoughts, daring experiments. 6 units, 6 flowers of language, risk, landscape, home, bigness, and unmaking.
This year's summer show theme is bloom, and for us it's really significant because it talks about a flourishing and a blossoming and reflecting back on the past 5 years of the GSA. But it's also really significant because it's about looking ahead into the future, and now that we've reached this critical milestone, it's about reflecting on a new chapter that's starting to come to fruition and starting to blossom.
Conversation Rooms was a project done in collaboration with Dr. Huda Tayyib of the GSA. It unfolds as a set of spaces for the prompting and recording of conversations about architecture, used in different contexts: one-to-one, a group discussion, a sharing circle, a solitary moment, a date. Counterspace conceived the project through a set of purpose-designed furniture pieces and choreographic movement design to foster collision, intimacy, facing toward and facing away, alternative forms for terms of engagement in space. What does it mean to engage with the existing archive and canon of the architectural? How can we rethink the canon in a world defined by racial capitalism, profound ecological crisis, and extreme violence? How do we engage with global economies of higher education and architectural institutional frameworks from the southern tip of Africa? Excerpt from Institutional Imaginaries press release, September 2019.
Leda River Canyon forms, winding up, through, across, heavy lifting volumes toward the rising sun, secret cave spaces, seen and unseen, crevices, cracks, massive sweeping bands pull, lift and turn. A series of thick walls arise from the natural contours on the site. All service functions, pantry, ablution, storage, contained inside them, leaving the stepped contours open and free for living space.
A home for in-betweening. 5 ribbons, 5 walls.
2020 Visions was a celebration of 5 years of the Graduate School of Architecture at the University of Johannesburg. It celebrated the stellar work of alumni, staff, and students who have grown, emerged, and extrapolated deeply complex transcontinental issues in spatial practice. Church Square in central Pretoria was the site of the city's first church, built in 1855. During its early years, the square was used as a marketplace and sports field, and is today one of the very few public squares in South Africa. The square is surrounded by historical buildings in varying neoclassical architectural styles, including the Palace of Justice, where former President Nelson Mandela was tried and charged for treason during the infamous Rivonia trial. Counterspace, in collaboration with Craig McLennigan Architects, was tasked with the urban regeneration of the city square. The project is still in its conceptual stages, but has been an exciting exercise in bringing together the old and new, scarring histories and 21st century movements. Being a part of Counterspace at such a pivotal moment of their practice has been a truly rewarding experience. The issues that the pavilion deals with has such relevance to what we face daily. It's influenced by ideas of inclusivity, culture, race, and otherness. It synthesizes all these themes into a single place of gathering. In putting together this presentation, I started thinking of it as a collaboration of sorts, with every person I worked alongside, sourced images, drawings from. They have each been a source of inspiration, who have shared bits of wisdom and wonder with me. Counterspace has been a huge opportunity for me to grow and develop myself as someone who can redefine what it means to be an architect.
The work of an architect doesn't start and end with a building. It's a realm of ideas.